Hey guys, Krzysztof the Polish Geek, and welcome to the review of the next two episodes of Ahsoka, episodes 4 and 5. And I have to say, the show continues to disappoint me and be very underwhelming. I have to say, no, it seems like it's obvious that those last two episodes are very much praised among some people as best episodes of the season so far, and I guess there is some truth to that, but again, that's not saying much. Being better than the first three doesn't mean those episodes are particularly good, and they still have plenty of flaws. I only think that the reason episode 4 was considered the best so far was because it admittedly did have it was certainly most action-packed with some lightsaber battles. They weren't very good lightsaber battles to begin with, but that's a different story. But especially if you... But yeah, we'll get to that later. They weren't even particularly good lightsaber battles, and then another reason is because Anakin showed up in the end in Ahsoka's vision. But then again, people should stop getting nostalgia baited. Having a beloved character appear and having action does not automatically mean the story is particularly good. And when I said that the lightsaber action wasn't even that good, well, I don't think so. Let's compare it to some awesome lightsaber battles like we had, like the battle between Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul. That's still probably the best lightsaber duel in Star Wars history. Or between Anakin and Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith on Mustafar. Or even between Anakin and Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back. And even in the Clone Wars, the duels were much more awesome. Like the duel between Ahsoka and Darth Maul is still probably my second favorite duel in Star Wars history after between the Obi-Wan, Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn. But well, enough talk of the lightsaber duels. Getting back to Ahsoka. And then the next episode, I have to say, was also very disappointing. Like, for example, when the previous episode ended with Ahsoka seeing Anakin, you were wondering what was going to happen next, and I was counting on some really interesting conversation between the two of them, but no, Anakin just says are you coming back? Or do you wanna die? And then shows her many visions from the Clone Wars. And while those visions weren't necessarily a bad thing, although they're very poorly executed, and then shows her visions of Clone Wars, and then she comes back. Nothing. He doesn't even mention Luke Skywalker, his son that redeemed him. Yeah. Instead of having some deep, interesting philosophical conversation with Ahsoka and maybe especially telling her about Luke Skywalker, he just basically says, are you dead or not? Gives her a vision and then voila, she's back. Yep, that's what we get. In general, I don't like the way the original trilogy characters are treated. We all know how in the sequels they're very disrespected, but even this, they're continuously being disrespected. The only time where Skywalker was awesome was at the finale of The Mandalorian, and then Book of Boba Fett completely undone it. And now the original trilogy heroes aren't even mentioned, when they are supposed to be the heroes that basically defeated the Empire, but now they are not even mentioned whatsoever. At all. Well, I'm still not really sure if Ahsoka should even survive events of the original trilogy, but if they really wanted this show to be any better, they should have, for example, they should have Ahsoka meet Luke Skywalker and maybe team up with him, and then of course maybe they could together treat Jason Syndulla, for example, as a Jedi. And yeah, Jason Syndulla is actually pretty interesting, and it makes sense for him to be Force sensitive, so that's what I'll give a credit to those episodes. But yeah, the real good Ahsoka show should look like the original trilogy heroes are being hailed as heroes of the rebellion. They don't need to be shown necessarily all the time, but they should certainly be hailed as heroes. And then Ahsoka should find Luke Skywalker and she should team up with him. And then she should learn, of course, that he's Anakin's son, and that should play a huge part in the story, of course. And then, of course, they should fight, of course, the Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yeah, that would be some good quality Ahsoka show instead of what we're getting, especially that the story isn't even going anywhere so far. We're still at the point of Ahsoka is looking for Ezra Bridger, although she hasn't even gone out looking for him at this point. We're still at point 1. I mean, she did ultimately at the end of episode 5, but That's how long we had to get to this point, till episode 5. But so far, I can't say I'm really liking the Ahsoka show, and especially that Grand Admiral Thrawn, he was supposed to be a main villain, yet we're up to episode 5 and he still hasn't made his appearance. Well, they're probably trying to save him for a grand finale. I mean, he's an awesome villain, and in the original expanded universe, he was one of the most competent villains in the history of Star Wars. Like, he should appear already by this point. Overall, can't say I'm happy with the Ahsoka show. You know, and in all honesty, it's probably a miracle that I'm still watching this show, and honestly, if the last 3 episodes actually pull it off, I'll be very, very surprised, honestly. The only credit I could give this latest episode, that admittedly I like that they finally mentioned Kanan and Jarrus, although a little too late anyway at this point. So far, the only thing Star Wars that I'm still looking forward to is Season 3 of The Bad Batch. Season 3 of The Bad Batch is literally the only thing now Star Wars that I'm excited, because now it's hard to get excited for anything Star Wars, seeing what Kathleen Kennedy is doing to that franchise. So yes, Season 3 of The Bad Batch is likely the final thing I'm hopeful and excited for at the same time. Everything else... Oh, and Season 2 of Tales of the Jedi, so yeah. Season 2 of Tales of the Jedi and Season 3 of The Bad Batch. I'm still looking forward to those, but everything else Star Wars related now, yeah, it's hard to get excited for anything Star Wars. But here are my thoughts on the episodes 4 and 5 of the Ahsoka show, and press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you later, bye!